My father cornered me by the champagne fountain at my sister's wedding. He smiled that shark smile I knew too well. "You're giving Amanda the house," he said. Not asking. Telling. I said, "No." His face went purple. He grabbed my collar and slammed my head into the marble wall. I felt warm blood running down my neck. Everyone gasped. Flash bulbs went off. What nobody knew yet was that somebody was live streaming. 1 million people watched me bleed that night. I woke up Sunday morning with my skull feeling like someone had taken a sledgehammer to it. The hospital had given me 17 stitches the night before. Right along my hairline, where my father's rage had split my scalp open against that marble wall. I reached for my phone on the nightstand and immediately regretted it. The screen lit up with a number that made no sense. 473 missed calls. 9,000 text messages. My hands shook as I scrolled through them. The messages came from everyone. Old high school friends I hadn't talked to in 15 years. Distant cousins, former coworkers, people whose numbers I didn't even recognize. They all said variations of the same thing. I saw the video. "Are you okay? This is insane. Your dad is a monster." What video? I opened my social media and my stomach dropped. The first post I saw had been shared 12,000 times. It was a clip from my sister Amanda's wedding reception. The angle was from across the ballroom, slightly shaky, like someone filming on their phone. But the audio was crystal clear. My father's voice, cold and commanding. "You're giving Amanda the house." My own voice, quieter, tired. "Dad, we've been over this. That's my house. I bought it with my own money." Then the sound that made me flinch even through my phone speaker, the crack of my head hitting marble, the collective gasp from 200 wedding guests. My sister screaming, blood running down my face as I slumped against the wall. The video had 1.2 million views. I clicked on the comments. Thousands of them. "What kind of father does this? Call the police! This is assault! That poor man. Someone help him." But then I scrolled further and saw different comments. There's always two sides to every story. Maybe he deserved it. Disrespecting your father at a wedding. What did he expect? My phone rang. My boss, calling on a Sunday morning. That was never good. "Ignacio," Marcus said, his voice carefully neutral. "I saw something concerning online this weekend." "Marcus, I can explain. The hospital board called an emergency meeting. We're putting you on administrative leave pending an investigation into your judgment and family situation. Medical equipment sales requires trust. And right now, the optics aren't good." "The optics?" "Marcus, my father assaulted me. I'm the victim here. I understand this is difficult, but we need to protect the company's reputation. Take some time. We'll be in touch." He hung up before I could respond. The next call came from Amanda, my little sister, who I'd helped put through college when our parents couldn't afford it, who I'd let live with me rent-free for 8 months when she was between jobs. "You ruined everything," she screamed the moment I answered. "My wedding, my special day. Everyone's talking about the fight instead of my marriage. How could you do this to me?" "Amanda, I didn't do anything. Dad attacked me because I wouldn't give you my house. Our house. It should be a family house. You're so selfish, Ignacio. You always have been. I can't believe you embarrassed Dad like this in front of everyone." He split my head open. "Because you provoked him. You always provoke him. I'm done with you. Don't call me again." The line went dead. My mother called next. She was crying. "Why did you let that video get posted? Why are you trying to destroy this family? Your father is humiliated. People are saying terrible things about him. You need to take it down." "Mom, I didn't post it. I don't even know who filmed it. Someone at the wedding must have been live streaming. I don't understand all this internet stuff, but you need to fix it. You need to apologize to your father and give Amanda the house like you should have. This has gone too far. Mom, he forged documents to steal my house and then assaulted me when I confronted him. Don't you see what he did? You're twisting everything. Your father would never do that. You're making him sound like a criminal." She hung up. I sat there in my apartment, head throbbing, phone buzzing with notifications every few seconds. The video had spread to 3 different platforms now: Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. People were using hashtags like #wedding-assault and #toxic-family. I became a trending topic. Then I saw my father's response. He'd posted a long statement on Facebook, and it had already been shared 800 times. I'm heartbroken to address the video circulating from my daughter's wedding. The clip has been taken completely out of context and edited to make me look like a villain. My son Ignacio has struggled with anger issues for years. And at the reception, he became aggressive with me. I was defending myself from his attack. The video conveniently doesn't show what he did before the recording started. I love my son, but he needs help. Please respect our family's privacy during this difficult time. The comments on his post were supportive. Gerald, we believe you. Praying for your family. Your son should be ashamed. You're a good father dealing with a troubled child. I felt like I was losing my mind. I'd been attacked, and somehow, I was becoming the villain in this story. My phone kept ringing. Cousins calling to tell me I was ungrateful. Aunts messaging that I should be ashamed. My uncle sent a text that just said, "Your father raised you better than this." By Monday afternoon, half my extended family had blocked me on social media. The other half were posting their own statements about what a difficult child I'd always been. My cousin posted a photo from when I was 16, captioned, "Ignacio has always been troubled. Praying Gerald can find peace." I started getting messages from strangers too. Death threats, mostly. People who believed my father's version of events, calling me a liar, a fraud, a manipulative son trying to destroy his own father. Someone found my work email and sent me a message that said, "You should be in prison, not working at a hospital." My professional reputation was crumbling. People I'd networked with for years were distancing themselves. A colleague sent a brief email. "Hey man, I think it's best if we don't do that project together. Don't want to get caught up in your family drama." The video kept climbing. 1.4 million views, 1.6, 1.8. And I realized the worst part. I'd thought the video would vindicate me. I'd thought everyone would see what my father really was. Instead, he'd spun the narrative so effectively that half the people watching thought I was the monster. The video that was supposed to prove my innocence was destroying my life. Amanda posted on her Instagram the next day. A photo of her and our father, his arm around her shoulders, both smiling at the camera. The caption read, "Standing with my dad through difficult times. Family means supporting each other, even when others try to tear us apart. Some people will never understand loyalty." 3,000 shares, 5,000 likes. Comments full of support for her and our father. I sat alone in my apartment, stitches itching in my scalp, jobless, alienated from my family, watching my reputation burn in real time across the internet. The video had been supposed to save me. Instead, it was burying me alive. Monday morning, I made an appointment with my lawyer. Todd Harrison had handled the purchase of my house 3 years ago, so he knew the entire history of the property. I needed someone who could help me make sense of what was happening. His office was in a renovated brownstone downtown, the kind of place that smelled like old books and furniture polish. Todd was in his 50s, gray at the temples, with the calm demeanor of someone who'd seen every kind of family dispute imaginable. When I walked in with my stitches still visible, his expression tightened. "Ignacio, I saw the video." "Everyone saw the video," I said, sitting down across from his desk. "That's the problem." I laid out the entire situation. The house I'd bought 3 years ago, a 3-bedroom craftsman in a gentrifying neighborhood that I'd worked 70-hour weeks to afford. The down payment had come entirely from my savings. No family help, no loans from my parents. It was mine, free and clear, worth about $380,000 now. 2 years ago, my father had lost his job. His insurance agency had been struggling, and a larger company bought them out. He'd been unemployed for 6 months. I'd let my parents stay in my house during that time because they were behind on their own mortgage. I'd moved into a smaller apartment. It was temporary. They were family. When my father found work again, they moved back to their own place. But something had changed. He started talking about how the house should stay in the family, how it would be perfect for Amanda when she got married, how I was selfish to keep such a big house for myself when I was single. I'd ignored it. The house was mine. End of discussion. Todd listened carefully, then pulled up the property records on his computer. He typed in the address, waited for the database to load. His eyes scanned the screen. Then his jaw tightened. "Ignacio, when did you last check the deed?" "I don't know. Why? Is something wrong?" He turned the monitor toward me. "There's a quitclaim deed filed 4 days before the wedding. According to this, you transferred the house to Amanda." My blood went cold. "That's impossible. I never signed anything." Todd pulled up the scanned document. There was my signature. Except it wasn't. The handwriting was close, but the angle was wrong. The pressure of the pen too light. I'd signed my name thousands of times. I knew what it looked like. "He forged it," I whispered. "My father forged my signature." Todd examined the notary stamp, typed the license number into another database, waited. Then shook his head. "This notary license doesn't exist. The stamp is fake." We sat in silence for a moment, while the implications sank in. "This is felony fraud," Todd said quietly. "Document forgery, notary fraud, identity theft. Your father could face 5 to 10 years in prison if you report this." "If I report it?" "Ignacio, if you go to the police, you're sending your father to prison. That's not a small thing. It will destroy your family. Your mother will never forgive you. Your sister will see you as the villain who put their father behind bars. You need to think about whether you can live with that. And if I don't report it, then Amanda gets the house. The fraudulent deed stands. You lose $380,000 worth of property, and your father wins." I tried calling my father. He didn't answer. I called 6 more times. Voicemail. Every time. I drove to my parents' house. My mother answered the door, but when she saw me, her face hardened. "You need to leave." "Mom, I need to talk to Dad. It's important." "You've hurt this family enough, Ignacio. Your father doesn't want to see you. He forged documents to steal my house. I have proof." She stepped back, hand on the door, ready to close it. "I don't want to hear your lies. Go away before I call the police." The door slammed in my face. I sat in my car outside their house for 20 minutes, trying to decide what to do. My phone buzzed with a text from Amanda. "Dad told me you agreed to give me the house as a wedding present. I'm so grateful. I'm moving in next week. The locks will be changed. If you have any belongings still there, you have until Friday to get them out. If you try to stop me, I'll get a restraining order." She was already treating it as hers, because my father had told her it was. I realized then what my father had done. The assault at the wedding wasn't about convincing me to give up the house. He'd already taken it. The forged deed was filed days before Amanda's wedding. The confrontation at the reception was about something else entirely. He'd been trying to intimidate me into silence, to scare me so badly that I wouldn't fight back when I discovered what he'd done. But someone had live-streamed it. The video had gone viral. And now my father's plan was exposed. Except no one believed me. They all thought I was the unstable one, the son who'd attack his own father at a wedding. Todd called me that evening. "I've been thinking about this. We have evidence of clear fraud, but prosecuting means destroying your father. And given the public narrative right now, a jury might be sympathetic to him. They've seen the video. They've seen his statement. They think you're the problem. So what do I do?" "That's not a legal question, Ignacio. That's a moral one. Only you can answer it." That night, I barely slept. Every option felt like a trap. Report the fraud, and I became the son who sent his father to prison. Don't report it, and I lost everything I'd worked for. Tuesday morning, my phone rang. Marcus from the hospital. "Ignacio, I'm sorry, but the board voted. We're terminating your employment, effective immediately. This situation has become too much of a distraction. HR will send you information about Cobra and your final paycheck. Marcus, you can't fire me for being assaulted. We're not firing you for that. We're terminating you because the ongoing family dispute is affecting your ability to maintain professional relationships. Several clients have expressed concern. I'm sorry, but this is final. The line went dead. I'd lost my job. I was about to lose my house. And I still had to decide whether to destroy my father to save myself. By Tuesday afternoon, I'd made my decision. I couldn't let my father get away with fraud. Whatever the cost, I had to fight back. I drove to the police station and filed a report. The detective who took my statement was a tired-looking guy in his 40s named Brandon. He reviewed the forged deed, the fake notary stamp, the documentation proving I'd bought the house with my own money. "This looks pretty clear-cut," Brandon said, making notes. "Document forgery, identity theft, fraud. We'll open an investigation. It might take a few weeks, but based on what you're showing me, you've got a solid case." I felt relief for the first time in days. Finally, someone believed me. That relief lasted exactly 6 hours. I was back at my apartment when someone knocked on the door. When I opened it, a woman in a sheriff's deputy uniform handed me an envelope. "Ignacio Rodriguez, you've been served." Inside the envelope was a temporary restraining order. My father had filed it that morning, claiming I'd threatened to kill him and was dangerously unstable. The petition included screenshots of text messages I'd sent Sunday night. Messages where I'd called him a liar, where I'd said, "You'll pay for this," where I'd written, "I can't believe you did this to me. You're going to regret it." The judge had granted an emergency temporary restraining order. I had to stay 500 feet away from my father, 500 feet from my parents' house, and 500 feet from the disputed house where all my belongings still were. I called Todd immediately. "They're smart," he said grimly. "Your father's lawyer is playing this perfectly. They're painting you as the aggressor. The viral video works in their favor now because it shows a violent confrontation, and they're arguing you orchestrated it for sympathy. That's insane, maybe, but it's effective. The restraining order means you can't go near your own house. Amanda can move in, change the locks, and you can't stop her without violating the order. If you violate it, you'll be arrested." Wednesday morning brought more bad news. Another knock on my door, another envelope. This time, it was a civil lawsuit. My father was suing me for $1.5 million. The complaint was 30 pages long. It accused me of defamation, claiming the viral video had destroyed his reputation and his insurance business. It accused me of intentional infliction of emotional distress. It claimed I'd orchestrated the live stream to publicly humiliate him. It argued that the assault was actually mutual combat that Ignacio provoked. Todd met me at a coffee shop to review the lawsuit. His expression was grim. "This is going to be expensive to defend. We're looking at $60,000 minimum in legal fees. Maybe more, if it goes to trial. I have $8,000 in savings. That's it. Then you need to think about whether you can afford to fight this. Your father is betting you can't. He's trying to bury you in legal costs until you give up." Thursday morning, my termination became official. I got the email from HR. My health insurance would end in 30 days. My final paycheck would be direct deposited Friday. I calculated my finances. Between rent, food, and the retainer for Todd, I had maybe 2 months before I was completely broke. Amanda posted on social media that afternoon. A photo of her standing in front of my house with a key in her hand, smiling. The caption read, "So grateful to my amazing dad for this incredible wedding gift. Starting this new chapter in the house my brother finally agreed to give me. Family is everything." The post got 3,000 shares within an hour. Comments poured in. "You deserve it. What a wonderful father. So happy for you." I wanted to scream. She was lying. I'd never agreed to anything. But if I commented on her post, I'd look like the bitter, jealous brother everyone already thought I was. By Friday, my professional network had completely abandoned me. LinkedIn connections were withdrawing. Colleagues who'd worked with me for years stopped responding to messages. Someone had started a rumor that I'd been fired for aggressive behavior, not for family problems. Companies that had been interested in hiring me suddenly went silent. The criminal investigation I'd filed wasn't moving forward. I called Detective Brandon for an update. The DA's office is reviewing it, he said. But I'm going to be honest with you, Ignacio. This is complicated. Family law, civil disputes, he said. The prosecutor might decide to let you handle this through the civil courts instead of pressing criminal charges. But he forged documents. That's a crime. I know. But with the restraining order against you, and the lawsuit, and the public narrative, it's messy. The DA doesn't like messy. I hung up feeling hollow. The system was failing me. My father had committed fraud, assaulted me, and stolen my house. But because he'd been smart enough to control the narrative, he was winning. That weekend, I couldn't pay my rent. I called my landlord and begged for an extension. He agreed to give me 2 weeks. After that, I'd be evicted. I was losing everything: my job, my house, my reputation, my family, my savings. And the man who'd caused all of it was being celebrated as a devoted father dealing with a troubled son. The video hit 2 million views. The comments were split now. Half the people saying my father was a monster, the other half saying I deserved what I got. And I realized my father had been right about one thing. He'd said I would pay for defying him. He just hadn't mentioned that the price would be everything I had. Friday night, I slept in my car for the first time. I'd officially run out of money for rent, and my landlord had started eviction proceedings. Everything I owned was in the back seat and trunk. Clothes, laptop, a few books. My entire life compressed into a 2007 Honda Civic. I parked in a 24-hour grocery store lot and tried to sleep. Every time a car drove past, I woke up, paranoid that it was police, or my father's people, or someone who recognized me from the video. By morning, my neck was cramped and my head was pounding. Saturday afternoon, I got a message on Instagram from an account I didn't recognize. The profile picture was a professional-looking woman with short dark hair. Her username was ZaraVoice, and her bio said Founder, Family Truth Project. The message read, Ignacio, I've been following your story. What happened to you was wrong. We specialize in exposing family abuse and helping victims get justice. We have 1.8 million followers and a network of pro bono lawyers. We'd like to help. Can we talk? I was skeptical. I'd been burned by everyone else. Why would this be different? But I was also desperate. I had no money, no home, no job, and a civil lawsuit I couldn't afford to defend. What did I have to lose? I called the number she provided. Zara answered on the second ring. Ignacio, thank you for reaching out. I've watched your video, probably 50 times. What your father did is textbook narcissistic abuse. The assault, the gaslighting, the financial manipulation. We see cases like this all the time. What exactly is the Family Truth Project? We're a viral justice advocacy group. When the legal system fails abuse victims, we use social media to expose the truth. We've helped hundreds of people. We document everything, present the evidence, and let the public decide. The pressure usually forces abusers to back down or face consequences. I don't know. This has already gotten so out of control. Ignacio, without intervention, you're going to lose. Your father has controlled the narrative. He's painted himself as the victim. We can change that. We can show people what really happened. And we have lawyers who will take your case pro bono. I thought about sleeping in my car, about the eviction notice, about Amanda living in my house, about my father's smug Facebook posts. Okay, I said. What do I need to do? Monday morning, the Family Truth Project launched their campaign. They'd spent the weekend putting together a comprehensive post that told my entire story. The forged deed, the fake notary, the planned assault, the identity theft. They hired a handwriting expert who analyzed the signature on the deed in a video, clearly demonstrating it was forged. They posted the police report I'd filed, with sensitive information redacted. They included screenshots of Amanda's social media posts, claiming I'd agreed to give her the house. They showed the timeline of events, making it clear that my father had planned everything. The post went viral immediately. Within 24 hours, it had been shared 50,000 times. By Wednesday, the narrative had flipped. Comments poured in supporting me. This man's father literally forged documents to steal his house. The assault was just intimidation. Gerald Rodriguez is a criminal. News outlets started picking up the story. Local news ran a segment titled Viral Wedding Video. New evidence suggests forgery. They interviewed legal experts who confirmed that the deed was clearly fraudulent. My father's insurance agency started losing clients. I watched his business Facebook page as negative reviews piled up. How can we trust an insurance agent who forges documents? This man is a fraud. Everyone should know what Gerald Rodriguez really is. By Thursday evening, someone had spray painted the word abuser across the front window of his office. I felt a grim satisfaction. Finally, people were seeing the truth. Finally, my father was facing consequences. Then my phone rang. My mother's number. I almost didn't answer, but something made me pick up. She was hysterical, screaming and crying so hard I could barely understand her. He collapsed. Your father collapsed. The ambulance just took him. Oh God! Ignacio, what have you done? My stomach dropped. What happened? He was at his office and he just fell. They think it's his heart. They're taking him to Providence General. If he dies, it's your fault. You killed him. She hung up. I sat frozen in my car. My phone started buzzing with notifications. The news was already spreading. Someone had posted on Facebook, Gerald Rodriguez, hospitalized with massive heart attack. His son's viral campaign may have killed him. By Friday morning, the story had shifted again. Now, I wasn't the victim fighting for justice. I was the son who'd turned an online mob against his father and given him a heart attack. Local news ran a new story. Family feud turns tragic. Father hospitalized after son's viral campaign. This is Eder. Amanda did a tearful interview on camera, standing outside the hospital. My brother has taken this too far. Yes, there were family disagreements. But to weaponize the internet against our father? To destroy his business? To send him death threats? Dad's not perfect, but he didn't deserve this. Now he might die, and it's Ignacio's fault. The comment section flipped again. This is horrible. You can't solve violence with violence. That poor father. Ignacio Rodriguez should be ashamed of himself. I tried calling Zara. She didn't answer. I called the Family Truth Project office. An assistant told me Zara was in meetings all day. I finally got a text from her Friday evening. We present the facts. We don't control how people respond. Your father's health situation is unfortunate, but it doesn't change that he committed fraud. That was it. No apology. No acknowledgement that their campaign might have pushed my father into a heart attack. Just cold pragmatism. The pro bono lawyer they'd promised? His office sent me an email. Given the recent developments and public sentiment, we've decided not to take your case. We wish you the best. The DA's office called Monday morning. Mr. Rodriguez, in light of your father's medical condition and the public response to your social media campaign, we've decided not to pursue criminal charges at this time. We encourage you to resolve this matter through civil channels. I sat in my car, which now smelled like stale fast food in desperation, and realized I'd made everything worse. My father was in the hospital, possibly dying. Half the internet thought I'd tried to murder him. The other half thought I was a cautionary tale about taking justice too far. Amanda had filed additional claims to the civil lawsuit, adding attempted murder via intentional infliction of emotional distress to the charges against me. My father's stolen house, my destroyed reputation, my vanished career, and now, potentially, my father's death on my conscience. The Family Truth Project had promised justice. Instead, they'd handed me a loaded gun and I'd shot myself in the foot. Someone found the grocery store parking lot where I'd been sleeping and posted my location online. People started driving by, taking pictures. Some yelled support. Others screamed that I was a murderer. Saturday night, someone smashed my car window. I woke up to glass on my lap and a note on my windshield. You should be in prison. I was getting death threats hourly now. Hundreds of them. People saying they'd find me. People saying I deserved what my father gave me. People saying they hoped I died. The video hit 3 million views. Every new viewer meant another person forming an opinion about whether I was a victim or a villain. And my father was still in the ICU, fighting for his life. My father survived. After 12 days in the cardiac intensive care unit, he was released with a pacemaker and strict orders to avoid stress. The news ran a heartwarming story about his recovery, featuring interviews with Amanda and my mother talking about how grateful they were, how this ordeal had shown them what really mattered. Within 48 hours of his release, his lawyer filed criminal charges against me. I was in the public library, using their free Wi-Fi to apply for jobs online, when I got a text from my old college roommate Brian. "Dude, the cops are looking for you." I called the police department. They confirmed it. There was a warrant for my arrest. Charges: criminal harassment, cyberstalking, and conspiracy to commit harassment. My father's lawyer argued that my involvement with the Family Truth Project constituted a coordinated criminal campaign intended to cause severe emotional distress. They attached evidence of the death threats my father had received, the vandalism of his office, the negative reviews that destroyed his business. They included his medical records from the heart attack. The municipal judge had found probable cause and issued the warrant. I drove to the police station Tuesday morning and turned myself in. I'd thought about running, but where would I go? I had $43 in my bank account and a car with a smashed window. They arrested me, fingerprinted me, photographed me, put me in a cell. Bail was set at $15,000. To get out, I'd need $1,500 for a bail bondsman. I had $43. I sat in county jail for 3 days. My cellmate was a guy named Ray, who was in for possession. He gave me advice while we waited for court appearances. "Man, first thing you do when you get out, check your bank account. Make sure nobody's draining you while you're in here. Happens all the time." I'd been allowed one phone call when they booked me. I'd called Brian, left a message asking for help with bail. He hadn't called back. On my 3rd day in jail, I finally got access to a phone again. I called my bank's customer service line, used their automated system to check my balance. $0.18. My checking account, which had held $7,400 3 days ago, was empty. I got through to a human representative and spent 20 minutes on hold while they investigated. When they came back, their voice was apologetic. "Sir, it looks like there were 7 unauthorized transfers over the past 48 hours, totaling $7,382. The transfers went to external accounts we don't recognize. How is that possible? I didn't authorize anything. The transfers were made using your social security number and your mother's maiden name as verification. Do you know anyone who might have that information?" My father. My father had all that information. He'd been systematically draining my bank account while I sat in jail. I need to file a fraud report. This is identity theft. We'll open an investigation, but that can take 30 to 60 days. In the meantime, I'm sorry, but those funds are gone. I hung up and immediately called back, asked to check if there had been any credit card applications in my name. The representative checked. "Yes, sir. 3 credit cards were opened in your name over the past 2 weeks. All 3 are maxed out. Total debt of $28,400. My father and Amanda had spent 3 weeks systematically destroying my credit while I was fighting to stay alive. They'd opened cards in my name and charged them to the limit. My credit score had dropped from 720 to 490. I couldn't get a loan, couldn't rent an apartment, couldn't get a job that required a credit check. They'd financially ruined me. Friday afternoon, Brian finally posted my bail. He showed up looking uncomfortable, avoiding eye contact. "Man, I had to borrow this from my parents. They're not happy about it. I'll pay you back, I swear." "Yeah, well, listen. My parents said I can't help you anymore. The criminal charges, the stuff with your dad's heart attack, it's too much. I'm sorry, but you're on your own after this." He drove me to where my car was parked, 2 blocks from the library. We didn't talk during the drive. When I got out, he drove away without saying goodbye. My last friend was gone. I sat in my car, trying to process the past 3 days. I'd lost the last of my money. My credit was destroyed. I had criminal charges pending. I was completely alone. Then someone knocked on my window. A man in a suit, holding an envelope. Ignacio Rodriguez, you've been served. Another lawsuit. I opened the envelope with shaking hands. It was a petition for emergency conservatorship. My father and Amanda were requesting that the court appoint them as my legal guardians. The petition laid out their argument. I was clearly mentally unstable. I'd orchestrated a viral video to attack my father. I'd launched a social media campaign that resulted in his hospitalization. I was homeless, unemployed, facing criminal charges. I was living in my car. I was a danger to myself and others. They were asking the court to give them control over all my legal decisions, medical decisions, and any future assets I might acquire. They wanted to become my conservators. The hearing was scheduled for 9 days from now. I read the petition 3 times, trying to comprehend what I was seeing. If they won, I wouldn't legally be an adult anymore. They could commit me to a psychiatric facility. They could make all medical decisions for me. They could control every aspect of my life. I called Todd, my lawyer. His assistant said he was in a deposition and couldn't be disturbed. I left an urgent message. He called back 2 hours later. Ignacio, I saw the conservatorship petition. I'm going to be honest with you, this is serious. Given everything that's happened, given the optics, there's a real chance they could win this. How can they win? I'm not mentally ill. You're homeless. You're unemployed. You're facing criminal charges. Your father can argue that you've demonstrated increasingly erratic behavior, that you need family intervention, and given the public narrative, a judge might agree. Can you represent me at the hearing? There was a long pause. Ignacio, you haven't paid my retainer. You owe me $8,000 for the work I've already done. I can't take on more work without payment. I'm sorry, but I have to withdraw from your case. Todd, please. I'll file the paperwork with the court. I'm sorry. I hope things work out for you. He hung up. I sat in my car in the library parking lot and felt something break inside me. I had no money, no home, no job, no lawyer, no friends, no family. Criminal charges pending. My father and sister were trying to take away my legal autonomy. And in 9 days, I'd have to go to court and defend myself against a petition that could lock me in a psychiatric facility for the rest of my life. I drove to a homeless shelter that night. They had a bed available. I slept in a room with 14 other men, listening to them snore and cough and cry in their sleep. Monday morning, I stood in line at a food bank for the first time in my life. I got a bag of canned goods and a loaf of bread. I sat on a bench outside and ate peanut butter out of the jar with my fingers because I didn't have a spoon. I thought about running, getting in my car and driving until I ran out of gas. Disappearing. Starting over somewhere else with a fake name. But I had no money for gas, no money for food, nowhere to run to. I was trapped. And my father had orchestrated every bit of it. The assault at the wedding, the forged deed, the viral video, the heart attack, the criminal charges, the identity theft, the conservatorship petition. Every move had been calculated to destroy me completely. And it had worked. Tuesday afternoon, I was sitting in the homeless shelter common room, using their public computer to search for any job that didn't require a credit check, when I got a notification on my phone. A direct message on Instagram from an account I didn't recognize. The username was Kelly W. 2018. I'm the one who live-streamed your sister's wedding. We need to talk. I have something you need to see. My first instinct was to ignore it. Every time someone claimed they wanted to help me, it ended with me worse off than before, but I had nothing left to lose. I sent back, "What do you want?" Her reply came immediately, "Not on here. Can you meet tomorrow morning? There's a coffee shop on Maple Street called The Grind. 10 a.m.? I agreed. The next morning, I walked the 2 miles to The Grind because I couldn't afford gas. A woman in her 30s was sitting at a corner table, laptop open. She waved when she saw me. "Ignacio, I'm Kelly Wright. Thank you for meeting me." She was a dental hygienist, she explained. She'd met my sister through a book club they both belonged to. She'd been invited to the wedding and thought it would be fun to live stream parts of the reception. I feel terrible about what happened, she said. I never meant for that video to go viral. I just had my phone propped up on a table, live streaming casually. I didn't even realize what I'd captured until people started commenting on the stream. It's not your fault. You just recorded what happened. That's why I contacted you. I've been watching what your father's been doing to you. The conservatorship petition was the final straw. I reviewed all my footage from that night, and I found something. She turned her laptop toward me. I started my live stream early, about 35 minutes before the ceremony. I was walking around the venue, filming the decorations. At one point, I set my phone down on a table near the champagne fountain while I went to the bathroom. I left it there, still recording, for about 8 minutes. She clicked play on a video file. The angle showed an empty section of the reception hall, just the edge of the champagne fountain visible. For the first minute, nothing happened. Then, I heard voices. My father's voice, unmistakable. When we confront him tonight, you need to back me up. Act upset. Cry if you need to. Make him look like the bad guy. Amanda's voice. What if he doesn't agree to sign over the house? My father. He won't have a choice. I already filed the transfer. But we need him to look unstable, maybe violent. If he reacts badly, even better. Then we can say, he's dangerous. Amanda. Dad, this feels wrong. My father. You want the house or not? We do this my way. We push him until he snaps. Get it on camera if you can. Then we take everything. His house, his reputation, his life. He'll be so destroyed he won't be able to fight back. Amanda. What about Mom? My father. Your mother does what I tell her. She always has. Now come on. The ceremony's about to start. Remember, you're the victim here. He's the selfish brother who won't help his own sister. The audio was crystal clear. Time-stamped 31 minutes before the assault. It was my father and Amanda, in their own words, planning everything. The setup, the provocation, the goal of making me look unstable so they could take everything. I couldn't breathe. My hands were shaking. This proves everything, Kelly said quietly. This proves they planned it. This proves the assault was intentional. This proves they wanted to destroy you. I immediately called Todd, even though he'd dropped me as a client. He answered on the third ring, annoyed. Ignacio, I told you. I have audio evidence, recorded 30 minutes before the assault. My father and Amanda discussing their plan to provoke me, make me look violent, and take everything. It's crystal clear. Time-stamped, irrefutable. There was a long pause. Send it to me, right now. I had Kelly send the file to Todd's email. 5 minutes later, he called back. This is incredible. This proves conspiracy to commit fraud, filing false police reports, perjury in the civil case. This changes everything. Your father and Amanda could both face serious criminal charges. Can we use it for the conservatorship hearing Friday? Absolutely. I'll file an emergency motion to admit this evidence. This proves you're not unstable. This proves they're the criminals. Ignacio, this could turn everything around. For the first time in weeks, I felt hope. That hope lasted exactly 6 hours. Thursday morning, I got a call from Todd. His voice was grim. We have a problem. Your father's lawyers found out about the audio. They filed an emergency motion arguing that the recording is illegal wiretapping. In this state, recording someone without their consent in a private conversation is a felony. But Kelly didn't know she was recording them. Her phone was just sitting there. Doesn't matter. The law doesn't require intent. If you record a private conversation without all parties knowing, it's illegal. The judge granted a temporary injunction. The audio is sealed. We can't use it, can't release it, can't reference it until there's a full hearing on its admissibility. When's that hearing? 3 weeks from now, but the conservatorship hearing is Friday. Tomorrow, without this evidence, I'll lose. I know. But if we use the audio now, you and Kelly both could face criminal wiretapping charges. Up to 2 years in prison. Kelly called me an hour later, her voice shaking. Ignacio, I got served with papers. Your father's threatening to prosecute me for illegal recording. I could go to jail. I have 2 kids. I can't go to jail. Kelly, I'm so sorry. I never wanted you involved in this. I know, but I am involved now. My lawyer says if I testify, or if I release that audio publicly, I'll definitely be charged. I can't risk it. I'm sorry. I tried to help. She hung up. I sat in the shelter that night, unable to sleep. I had the evidence that would prove everything. That would vindicate me. Completely. That would destroy my father's case and expose his crimes. But using it meant going to prison. The conservatorship hearing was in less than 18 hours. If I lost, my father and Amanda would become my legal guardians. They could commit me to a psychiatric facility. They could control every aspect of my life. They could make sure I never fought back again. I could release the audio, post it online. Let the world hear my father's own words admitting to his plan. It would destroy him. The conservatorship petition would be thrown out. The criminal charges against me would be dropped. I'd win. But I'd also be arrested for felony wiretapping. I'd go to prison for 2 years, maybe more. Or I could stay silent, keep the audio sealed, go to the hearing tomorrow without the one piece of evidence that proved my innocence, and probably lose everything, including my freedom. My last friend Brian had abandoned me. My family had betrayed me. The legal system had failed me. And now I had to choose between going to prison or losing my autonomy forever. I thought about all the times I'd tried to do the right thing. File the police report. Work with the Family Truth Project. Turn myself in on the warrant. Play by the rules. And every time, it had made things worse. My father had never played by the rules. He'd lied, forged, assaulted, manipulated. And he was winning. Friday morning, 4 hours before the hearing, I stared at my phone. The audio file was there. One click, and I could upload it to every social media platform. Let the world hear it. Expose everything. I thought about what my father had said in that recording. We push him until he snaps. He'd been trying to make me snap this whole time. Trying to push me into doing something desperate. Something criminal. Something that would prove I was exactly the unstable person he claimed I was. And now I had a choice. Snap and prove him right. Or stay calm and lose everything. I closed my eyes and made my decision. Friday morning, I put on the only clean shirt I had left and walked to the courthouse. I had no lawyer, no witnesses, no evidence I was allowed to use. Just myself and the truth that no one seemed to want to hear. The courtroom was smaller than I'd expected. Judge Patricia Hendricks sat behind the bench, a woman in her 60s with steel-gray hair and sharp eyes. My father sat at the plaintiff's table with Amanda and their lawyer, a man in an expensive suit who'd probably charged them $20,000 just to file the conservatorship petition. I sat alone at the defendant's table. Their lawyer went first, painting a picture of a man in crisis. He showed photos of me from my social media, pointing out that I looked increasingly haggard in recent posts. He referenced my homelessness, my unemployment, my criminal charges. He played clips from news stories about the Family Truth Project campaign and my father's heart attack. Your Honor, Ignacio Rodriguez has demonstrated a clear pattern of escalating mental instability. He's launched vicious attacks against his own father. Attacks that nearly killed him. He's homeless, jobless, and facing criminal prosecution. He's a danger to himself and others. His family is here today, out of love, asking for the authority to get him the help he desperately needs. Amanda testified next, crying on the stand about how worried she was about her brother, how I'd always been troubled, how she'd tried to help me but I'd pushed everyone away, how she was terrified I might hurt myself or someone else. My father testified last. He looked frail, moving slowly, one hand on his chest as if his heart might give out at any moment. He talked about how much he loved me, how heartbroken he was to see me destroying myself, how he just wanted to help his son get better. He was a master performer. By the time he finished, I saw the judge's expression soften with sympathy. Then it was my turn. I took the stand, was sworn in, and told my story. All of it. The forged deed, the planned assault, the identity theft, the systematic destruction of my life. I spoke calmly, methodically, laying out every detail. When I finished, their lawyer cross-examined me. Mr. Rodriguez, do you have any proof of these accusations? Yes. There's audio evidence that was recorded at the wedding. It proves everything. But that evidence has been sealed by the court, hasn't it? Because it was illegally obtained. The recording was accidental. So you have no admissible evidence. Just your word against your father's. The handwriting analysis proved the deed was forged. A handwriting analysis commissioned by an advocacy group with no legal authority. Do you have expert testimony for this court? I couldn't afford an expert. Because you're unemployed and homeless. Which brings us back to the question of your stability. He kept going, twisting everything I said, making me sound paranoid and delusional. By the time he finished, I saw doubt in the judge's eyes. Judge Hendricks called a 15-minute recess to review the evidence. I walked out to the courthouse hallway, exhausted. I went to the water fountain, bent down to drink. That's when I heard footsteps behind me. My father's voice, low and vicious. You think you're smart? That audio means nothing. I'll bury you. I'll put you in a psychiatric ward and throw away the key. You'll never see daylight again. I turned around. He was right there, Amanda standing behind him, looking uncomfortable. You set me up, I said quietly. You planned everything. He stepped closer. Of course I did. You don't deserve that house. I built this family. You owe me everything. That house should have been mine. From the start. I forged the deed, I set you up, and I'll destroy you. And there's nothing you can do about it. Dad, stop, Amanda whispered. People can hear. I don't care. He was getting louder, angrier. He's going to learn what happens when you disrespect your father. That house is gone. Your money is gone. Your life is gone. I took it all, and I'd do it again. What my father didn't know was that courthouse hallways have security cameras. Cameras with audio recording. Cameras that are monitored 24 hours a day by security staff who are trained to watch for confrontations. 2 security guards appeared within 30 seconds. Sir, we need you to come with us. My father looked confused. What? I'm in the middle of a conversation with my son. Sir, you've just confessed to multiple crimes on camera. Please come with us. Now. They led him to a courthouse security office. Amanda followed, her face pale. I stood in the hallway, heart pounding, not quite believing what had just happened. 15 minutes later, an assistant district attorney showed up at the courthouse. Then another. They reviewed the security footage. My father's confession was crystal clear. I forged the deed. I set you up. I took it all. When court reconvened, Judge Hendricks' expression had completely changed. Mr. Gerald Rodriguez. I've just reviewed security footage from this courthouse showing you confessing to fraud, forgery, and conspiracy. This conservatorship petition is denied. Furthermore, I'm holding you in contempt of court and ordering your immediate detention. 2 sheriff's deputies moved toward my father. He looked shocked, then panicked. Your Honor, I didn't mean that wasn't. Save it for your criminal defense attorney. Deputies, take him into custody. They handcuffed my father right there in the courtroom. Amanda burst into tears. The DA stood up. Your Honor, given this confession, the state is immediately reopening our criminal fraud investigation. We'll be filing charges. Judge Hendricks nodded. I'm also ordering the previously sealed audio evidence unsealed. Given Mr. Rodriguez's courthouse confession, the privacy concerns are outweighed by the interests of justice. Todd, who'd shown up just as court started, stood up. Your Honor, I'd like to play that audio for the record. The judge allowed it. Kelly's recording played in the courtroom. My father and Amanda's voices, planning everything. The gasps from the spectators section were audible. When it finished, the judge looked at Amanda. Miss Rodriguez, did you participate in this scheme? Amanda was sobbing. I didn't. I just wanted yes. Yes. I knew about the forged deed. I helped with the identity theft. I lied in my statements. I'm so sorry. I didn't think it would go this far. I just wanted the house. The judge's voice was ice. You'll have plenty of time to reflect on your choices. I'm referring your case to the DA as well. She turned to me. Mr. Rodriguez, I apologize that the legal system failed you. The fraudulent deed is hereby voided. Your property is legally returned to you. All civil claims against you are dismissed with prejudice. The criminal charges against you are dropped. You're free to go. I sat there, unable to process what had just happened. It was over. I'd won. 2 months later, my father was indicted on 14 felony counts. Fraud, forgery, identity theft, perjury, filing false police reports, conspiracy. He took a plea deal, 4 years in prison, full restitution to me, permanent restraining order. Amanda was charged with 3 felonies but got probation and community service in exchange for her testimony. She had to attend counseling and write me a letter of apology every month for 2 years. My credit was restored. The bank returned my money with interest. I filed for bankruptcy to clear the fraudulent debt. It was approved. The viral video now has 5 million views. Someone made a documentary-style edit showing the full timeline with all the revealed evidence. It went even more viral. The comments are different now. This man is a hero. He fought back and won. Justice prevails. The hospital offered me my job back. I declined. Instead, I used the settlement money, $150,000 from the forced sale of my father's assets, to start a nonprofit called Family Justice Alliance. We help victims of family financial abuse navigate the legal system. We provide pro bono legal support, financial counseling, and advocacy. I speak at events now. I tell my story. People listen. My mother reached out 6 months after the trial. She apologized, said she'd been in denial, that she couldn't face the truth about the man she'd been married to for 40 years. We're working on rebuilding our relationship. It's slow, it's hard, but it's something. Amanda sent me a letter from her court-mandated therapy. I became what Dad taught me to be. I learned that love was manipulation, that family was about control, that taking what you wanted was strength. I'm trying to become better. I'm trying to understand why I hurt you. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I'm trying. I haven't responded yet. Maybe someday. But here's what I learned through all of this. When your family betrays you, when the system protects them, when the world believes their lies, you have 2 choices. You can break their rules to find justice, or you can wait for them to break themselves. I chose to wait. Not because I was noble, but because I was tired of fighting dirty in a world that already saw me as the villain. My father thought he'd destroyed me, but he taught me something valuable. The truth doesn't need to be forced. It just needs patience. And when it finally comes out, it hits harder than any revenge ever could. I didn't win because I was stronger. I won because I stopped trying to prove I was the good guy, and just let him prove he was the bad one. Sometimes the best move is to step back and let your enemy defeat themselves. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Today, I'm standing in front of my house, the one I bought with my own money, the one I almost lost. There's a Family Justice Alliance sign in the front yard now. I'm planting flowers in the garden. Roses, because they're beautiful and they have thorns. I still have the video on my phone. Sometimes I watch it. But I don't see my lowest moment anymore. I see the beginning of my freedom. The scars from where my father slammed my head into that wall are still there. I see them every morning in the mirror. But they don't remind me of the assault. They remind me that I survived, that I fought back, that I won, and that's something worth remembering. So let me ask you something. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted? Has your family ever turned on you when you needed them most? Have you ever felt like the system was designed to protect the powerful and crush the powerless? What did you do? Did you fight back? Or did you walk away? I'd love to hear your story in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button. It helps more people find these stories and know they're not alone. And if you want to hear more stories about fighting back against injustice, about standing up when everyone tells you to sit down, about winning when everyone expects you to lose, then subscribe to this channel. We share stories like this every week. And please, share this video. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who's going through their own battle with family. Someone who feels alone. Someone who needs to know that truth eventually wins, even when it takes time. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being here. Thank you for caring about justice. I hope wherever you are, whatever you're facing, you find your own strength, you find your own truth, and you find your own victory. Take care of yourselves out there. And remember, sometimes the longest path to justice is the only one that leads to real freedom.